What's going on, everybody? This is Da'zjon, the owner of Tinae's Wealth Management,
It's Mac.
and we're talking about how to get approved for small business grants. Now, a lot of people have been reaching out to me over the last few days over my last videos about the EIDL advance. So I wanted to talk about how a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners can go about being or putting themselves in position to receive these small business grants. So let's dive into what I see online. And I pretty much want to get to the specifics on how you can go about it. And just to let everyone know in advance, if you need any help, make sure you like the video, make sure you comment, turn your notifications on, as we will continue to post more videos about a lot of this content. So just stay tuned in. And again, I want to start off by saying when it comes to applying for small business grants or grants in general, what a lot of entrepreneurs or business owners in general need to understand is that it's pretty much like searching for grants for college. There's not really a specified place where you can go to really find these grants, but there are a lot of sources that I think people can look into. And I wanted to dive straight into a few of the websites. So first, everybody has been hearing about the targeted economic disaster type of advances with the EIDL program. So you can check that out on SBA.gov. Has a lot of great programs out there for people that are experiencing, any type of hardship in low income areas. If you received any type of, reduction in income of 30% or more in an 8-week period, that's something to note. You can check out USA.gov. Although it doesn't really have specifics about how you can go about it, they do have a lot of resources where a lot of business owners can pretty much put themselves in position to get in contact with those who can assist you with those type of matters. Also, you have the small business development centers, as well as other programs such as the National Association for the Self-Employed. So if you're self-employed, there are a lot of grants out there that you can put yourself in position to get, but we really want to talk about a lot of the specifics that a lot of business owners need to have prior to going out and applying for these type of grants. So as I tell everybody, it's all about making sure your business is sound and effective. So I'm going to let Mac talk about a few things that, a lot of business owners need to have, and then I'll elaborate on a lot of the things that, just to get into detail on what you should have. So I'm going to let Mac explain a little bit. That way you guys know exactly what you need to have.
So one of the important things to factor in is when you're looking at those grants on the sites he mentioned, a lot of time they're industry specific. Say, for instance, you're doing like something art related, there's like grants for that. If you're in technology, there's grants for that. Also, you got to make sure you have a business plan because they're going to want to see it. Anybody and their mama can't just, apply for this and get this money. They want to see like a well-detailed business plan. That way they say, okay, we want to give this money to this person because they have a plan. They know what they're going to do with this money. And then that's how they determine how they award this money to people.
Right. And that's a really great point that you said. A lot of people really need to understand that you need to have, a business plan and a well-structured business in order to receive these grants. Because I think one of the biggest problems today is that a lot of people are just waking up, going on Sunbiz, if you're in Florida, or just going on, whatever Georgia has, and they're just applying for LLCs or sole proprietorship type of things. And they're basically, just trying to get themselves in position to get these grants without anything else. If you pay $100 and you get your LLC, that's nothing to really be happy about or to gain grant funds for. That just basically says, hey, I'm basically legally required to pay taxes. That's really all an LLC is, or, corporation or S Corp, C Corp, whatever you design your business to be, that just has something strictly to do for tax purposes. It really doesn't have anything to do with the actual business itself. And don't think too deep into that statement. I really mean in terms of, if you're receiving a grant or not. So don't just apply for an LLC and then go apply for a grant. You'll easily get denied. When you have your LLC, you're just legally saying that you want to pay taxes. But not only that, let's say you are in position to receive a grant. You've been in business for a while. You've experienced some hardship, or you just want to find out what kind of grants are out there. You need to have a business plan for one, because if banks look at your actual structure of your business and they're like, well, what do you do? And you don't have anything that could back that information, then they're not going to listen to what you say, especially if you're in really competitive markets like technology or something involved with finance or something along those natures. So you really want to be careful when you go out about applying for grants or even some type of business loans too as well, because that business plan will solidify a lot of what you speak on rather than you having to have, a complete trail or trace of, what you're standing on. So even for myself, when I started Tanae's Wealth Management, I didn't really have much of a problem, even with little to no capital or things of that nature, because one, I had good personal credit. And then two, I never really put myself in a position to, go out and do all of the other stuff people did. I got my EIN, I did my business plan, I got my business banking account, and I just did services for the first year and a half. Then as time went by, I started dabbling in other things. And that helped put me in position to expand your business. So if you have a small business and you're looking for grants, don't just go out and just apply for an LLC and then try to get the grant. Try to structure and work on the back end of your business. I tell people this all the time. If you work on the back end structure of your business, everything else will take care of itself. And that will help put you in position to get these grants, whether it's an EIDL advance of, $10,000 to $15,000. It doesn't matter if it's a, minority type of grant, depending on what business you have, or a technological type of grant that you're applying for. SBA.gov, I think that's one of the best websites out here, not just because, they really give you a well-structured idea of what you can do, but it also tells you everything that you need, and they provide you with the templates for business plans, how to go about getting your EIN, and everything along those lines. So if you have a well-structured business and you feel like this is the step that you want to take, put yourself in that position. There are websites like Fiverr where you can actually work on business plans if you're not the best writer, and there are other third-party tools that you can use that can help you out if you struggle with these things. So just take that with a grain of salt and just try to embed a lot of what I'm saying into your everyday business needs, because it's going to be important for you down the line. I tweak my business plan every day. I'm going through my business accounts every day, allocating money, making sure they go towards the right things, documenting that, doing my annual reports, making sure all of the numbers line up, being completely honest when I apply for my grants in terms of revenues, expenses. And I think that's an important thing to note as well, because a lot of people like to ask, what should I put when I apply for this grant for my gross revenues? What should I put what my business is about? You should already have these things in mind prior to applying for grants, because that can waste a lot of time, just by going through a lot of research just to not really know what you're doing. So be sure you're taking the time to read what these grants are saying, make sure you're understanding the actual qualifications, and then embed your business and add those extra key details that will separate you from everyone else. Because again, if me and Matt go to a bank and he has a business plan and I don't, and he has revenues or even some, and I have zero with just an LLC, they're going to give him all of the funds because he's way more trustworthy, even if he didn't have business credit as well, because he has that plan, and that gives them a good idea on how they can go about, making their money back, whether it's a grant or even a loan. So some grants have certain stipulations. That's why I say that, not because if you don't follow the stipulations of the grant, of course, most times it turns into a loan and you have to pay it back. That's why I'm saying that, for those that may say, why is he saying that? So yeah, that's really all I really wanted to say about that. So I'll let Mac touch on a couple of other topics as too, if he has anything to say on that, and then we could touch on that.
Just a little bit more on the business plan. Also don't get afraid of hearing the term business plan and all the steps that goes to it. Everybody's business plan is going to be different. Some people might have a 50-page business plan. Some might have a 10. It really varies depending on your business and how it's structured. As DJ said, we're in 2021. There's a lot of applications and websites you can use to track your revenues. That is very, very important, because you need to be able to project how you are in the future and everything. Like he said, that's what the banks and everything are looking at when they're passing out these grants. So make sure I know a lot of people like to just jump into the business and just get straight to it, but like a business plan really helps because it gives you something to look back to, all the plans that you had, you can track
Right.
it and everything like that. So
Right.
that was my biggest thing.
Right. And that's another thing I talk about all the time too, is just really being patient and really just understanding what your business is and then going out and applying for those grants. Because like I said earlier, a lot of people just jump out, they get LLCs, they try to apply for these grants. What they don't realize, if they just started being patient from the beginning, got the LLC, got the EIN, got their actual business services down pat, follow a structured plan, then that makes it so much easier for you to get approved for any type of business grant, because now you have a track record, you have a clientele base, and if you're using programs like Square, PayPal, Gusto, any type of payroll type of system, that can track a lot of your revenues. You send that straight off to SBA.gov, whoever you're getting your grants through, they're going to see those numbers. So everybody DMs me, what should I put on gross revenues or cost of goods sold? What should I put on this tab when I'm applying for my grants? And I tell people, you shouldn't really be asking me that type of question, because that's your business. You should know that. You know how much you spent to, put into your business. If you're a baker and you're buying sugar, flour, eggs, that's your cost of goods sold right there. Your revenues is just basically what you made out of the eggs, the butter, and all the stuff that you put together. So it's really a matter of what you're really spending. So keep your receipts, track them, go through payroll systems so you can basically keep track of all this stuff. Because me, just looking at it as a business professional, I'm about to just go out and have all of that work sitting in la la land. I'm going to get an actual payroll system. I use Square. For everybody that's watching, it's only like $26 a month. You can pay your employees, you can give them benefits, all of that other stuff, and it's tax deductible as well. So not only are you going to get a good bit of that money back, but that also creates a good paper trail for you if you're going to start a business. Because if you go inside of a bank, or if you go to a loan service provider or whoever, and they're asking you for these numbers, if you show them you got a payroll system, numbers already printed out, you have your business plan established, and you hand it straight to them, the first thing they're going to be is surprised. Because I work for a bank. Ask me how many times I've seen somebody come in asking for a business loan or even a grant and not really having anything besides the LLC. And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems in the small business world, is that a lot of people, they get overhyped about getting the LLC, and that's cool. I'm happy you started your business. I'm not knocking anybody, because I support everybody that has small businesses, but it has to start with not only being organized, but going about it the legal way. Like, there's a lot of people that even have businesses and they talk about wanting to get grants. They don't even know, if you're a sole proprietor, you can't just take cash out of your business and pay yourself. You have to pay yourself through a payroll system to basically treat yourself as an employee. Because even me, as the owner of Tinae's Wealth Management, that doesn't matter. I just can't take money out of my business account and just throw it in my personal. So some people say, how much can I allocate towards my personal account, or how much can I do for this? It's not even really supposed to be for those reasons. It's strictly business related. That's why you keep them separate. Now, some people like to mix a little bit of their business and their personal, and that's okay if you choose to do so, but that's also going to come with a lot more complex things happening once tax season comes around. So you need to have all of that established. Like I said, Gusto, you can use Square. I use Square. I like it. It's probably the cheapest you could find on the market. And it's going to save you a lot of time when you're dealing with these banks, or if you're dealing with lenders or someone, even a venture capitalist that wants to give you a grant or maybe even a loan. So you have to really sit and think about what you want for your business, and then go about working on that back end. I think most service-based businesses, or even product-based businesses, they don't really have much to worry about outside of working on their back end. That's probably the number one reason most businesses fail within 6 months or even less than that. And that's just due to lack of proper planning. A lot of people that just go to the mall. Look at all these shops you see come in and out every week. They're in and out fast. There's new stores every other month. Yeah, that's because they're going broke. They don't know how to get grants. They don't know how to get loans or efficient loans in terms of affordability, interest rates, quote unquote, or whatever the case may be. So it's just really important to go about structuring your business the right way, because if you don't, people will take advantage of you. And again, business comes at a cost. And if you're in business, we already know it's all about interest rates if the money ain't free. So if the money isn't free, guess what? We need to put ourselves in the best position as possible to get the lowest rates as possible, whether it's working capital, grants, loans, whatever. You just have to make sure you structure your business the right way, because again, that could be the same reason you get denied for a grant, because you structured your business wrong. You didn't know your real trade name. It was off, EIN's off, everything along those lines. You need business accounts only. You can't use your personal. A lot of people like to say, do I have to get a business account, or I can't get approved for one? If you can't get approved for one, that's something to note. Pay off your debts, get your credit right. All of that is important in the business game. So keep that in mind when you're applying for grants as well. If you're a mug, look, if you a dude that got a lot of debt and you know you ain't paying nobody back no debts, look, don't expect no grants. I'm gonna just keep it clean and cut and straight to the point. You ain't got good credit, look, stop expecting good grants. Because I think a lot of people waste time and they're trying to fish for ways to finesse the system. You ain't getting no grants with a low credit score. Well, I ain't gonna say with a low credit score. If you know you got a lot of debt that's owed, just know you ain't getting no money. Now, if you just got bad credit and your score just low and you ain't really got nothing on there, you good. But I really just had to say that because I feel like a lot of people get a misunderstanding of what's really required or what's necessary when getting a grant. Like even for me, I posted a video the other day, over 2K, views on the EIDL, and that's because I got approved for the loan. Well, not the loan, the $15,000 grant. So all I did was start my business in 2019. We worked, we did our services, we applied for the EIDL grant the first time, got denied. Second time around, we got approved for 10,000. First time it was denied for 1,000. They gave me an extra 9,000 just because I didn't get it the first year. But all I did was just continue to do my business work, and then the money just came back around. So you can't really be pressed for the grant money too. You really just got to kind of do your thing. Don't really think too much about it, because when you focus too much on getting the grants, you start losing focus on your goals and things of that nature, and you start to slip, and then you don't meet those parameters. So I did want to leave off on that.
And it's a lot of information. I know people get overwhelmed when you mention so many different factors that go into it. Like I said, DJ's he done it himself. So like if you need help, you can always hit him up. I've reviewed a few business plans myself. I mostly focus on the marketing section, but I know DJ does a lot of business plans. So it really is okay to get help, because honestly, even people with like business degrees, they still might need help in certain sections. Maybe they're not as good as an accountant, so they got to hire somebody to do some accounting. So just like recognize where you weak at, and then hire somebody in a smart way to help do the other stuff, and then you can focus on the stuff that you're strong at.
And that's a good point too. Outsource anything you don't know. I go straight to Fiverr.com, whether I need somebody for little marketing stuff or just little small tasks. Fiverr.com. That's really all you really have to do. Outsource a lot of the stuff you don't know. That way you can get your work done. I think one of the biggest problems with me starting off is that I didn't really start off as focused. I was, but I wasn't really focused on more of my back end. I was worried about getting seen more, and I think that was the problem. I was focused more on trying to get leads the whole time, when I realized I need to just work on the back end and let everything else in terms of the service work its way out. It started to work itself out. So I didn't really have any problems throughout the process. So I'm going to be posting more videos on grants, how to get loans. So make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like the video, turn your notifications on. I'm going to be posting a lot of videos. Appreciate everybody that's recently subscribed. If you don't know anything about our channel right now, we talk about a lot of credit restoration, financial freedom, mortgages, how to get affordable rent. A lot of topics that I think could help a lot of people out, especially, a lot of us middle class Americans. So I appreciate everybody that's taking the time to watch this video. I'm Da'zjon.
I'm Mac.
And I appreciate everybody for watching in, and stay tuned for the next video.
Peace.
Deuce.